Hi, friends. It's Tom again. I want to talk to you about something that we've covered before. We've touched on it in a few different ways. I want to do it one and again because it's just so important and look at it a little differently. It may resonate with you. I want to talk about the two lives that you live. Every moment, every day, you have at least two different lives, at least. You have the outer life of what's going on around you out here in the environment with your house, your family, your car, your job, what you see on TV, all this news and everything that's happening, and how you're reacting to that. You have other people in your life. And this is the outer life, this is part of the outer life. How do they control your life? What do they do with your life? How do they dictate what's going on in your life? What happens there? How do you do that? So this is the outer life, the events and situations of the world, the other people that are outside of you. And the inner life is what's going on in here. What's happening between the crown of our head and our belly button, down through here. What's actually happening down through here. That's our inner life. How do we feel? How do we think? What are our emotions, our feelings, and our thoughts inside of us? Because this inner life right here, what's happening down through here, is what we live and die by. This is the life that we spend when we go to bed at night. This is the life we have when we have a relationship with other people. Everything comes from in here. But 90% of the people out there, probably closer to 99%, let the outer life, what's going on around them, dictate totally how they feel and think and react inside. Stop and think of that. How many times have you heard or have you said, other people push my buttons, push my buttons? I see something on TV, get upset about it. Get a notice in the mail about the electric bill being overdue, react about it. So this outer life, this is what we have been trained, this is what we are set and we are programmed to let this outer life control everything, but we don't have to. Because I want you to learn what the difference is between when we allow this outer life to dictate everything about us and then when we find another way to change and not let that happen. So we take control of our inner life. The secret. That's what we're going to learn today, the secret. But first of all, I want to look at the differences. Look at this outer life. When our outer life is being dictated, what happens? How do we feel? Well, first of all, we have physical reactions. We have our stomach may get tight, may be tense, may have cramps of all things. Our chest may feel tight. We may not be able to get a deep breath, may just be a little bit constricted, like a weight on us. Our throat, I had this happen. I used to live like this. My throat's a little bit tight. I can't just swallow, just can't seem to do anything right. Everything a little tight in here. One of the key things about that when we're allowing this outer life to control us, completely control us, is up here in this magic, magnifying, marvelous mind, this area between our ears. It's in a chaos, it's in a cacophony of sounds and thoughts and everything going off. We're reacting, we're totally reacting. We can't stop thinking, our thoughts just go. And those thoughts many of them become ego driven thoughts. Ego tells us that we should be afraid. We have anxiety, we have fear, we have worry, we have regrets. We feel so bad about ourselves, guilt. We judge ourselves and other people. We'll be so full of self criticism or criticizing other people. We become selfish, self centered, self righteous. Everything's about me. It's all about me. What that person says, what that person does, it's all about me, how it affects me. That's when we're letting the outer life, the situations, events, and people out here control what's happening in here. Now that's what we live. We can't sleep at night. We're hectic. We're always in a hurry. Our mind is going constantly. It's a very intense state, from an intense panicky discomfort into just not feeling good. Like I said, just not breathing right, just not enjoying life, not peaceful. Now, when we can learn to take control of this inner life and distance ourselves from what's going on out here, completely changes everything. When we learn that we are a child of the Father, a child of God, a divine child, and we have a divine birthright to a power that exists inside of us. It's been called the kingdom of heaven within, the God within, the Christ within, the Buddha within. It's been called a number of different things throughout history. The 12-step programs, I love that. AA calls it the great reality deep down within. An unsuspected inner resource that we have that we can tap into. And what that does, it lets us take control of this inner life. It lets us shift and not let these things out here bother us as much. Tremendous. It's a powerful, powerful tool and concept. So what happens when we're able to do that? Let's look at that first. Well, we become more peaceful. Our stomach doesn't get as tense and upset. We just feel better. Our chest is looser. We can actually take a deep breath and enjoy it. We can actually relax and enjoy that and feel that deep breath. But up in here, our throat becomes looser, but our mind is the key to everything. Our mind's the key to everything. Our mind starts to slow down. Our mind starts to find some peace and relaxation. We are able to see things different. It presents a different perspective in time. There are no big deals. The big deals, things that used to be big deals, we realize they're just not that important. They're not life-threatening. They're just not that life-changing. They're nothing. We used to get upset about them. They're no big deals. We realize that we don't become as sensitive to what other people do or say. We don't become as afraid to what's going on around us because we realize we don't need to overreact to these things. We need to live in this outer world. We need to function out there, but we don't need to let it control us. And that's one of the big differences. Now, how does this happen? The other things that happens is that the thoughts, the actual thoughts that are generated up here completely change. We have less thoughts of self-pity, self-judgment, anger, regret. We become much more compassionate, tolerant, loving. Our thoughts change because our thoughts dictate all these feelings and everything we do. So our thoughts start changing. Now, what has the power, the real power, to change that? What gives us the power to be able to do this inner life this way and not let the outside control us? You've got the power. You've got this wonderful divine spark inside of us, the kingdom of heaven within. And stop and think. And if you've seen some of the other videos, you've seen this before, that we have this wonderful power. It's like this light bulb. Everybody gets through life born a light bulb. You were born a light bulb. But when you learn to tap into this unsuspected inner resource, this divine infinite power that you've been given access to, it changes. This is the power that can shift your thinking. This is the power that can break the chains of addiction. This is the power that can actually sever the bonds of alcoholism, that can break away from that self-will that dominates and controls their life. This is the power that can take the power from the outside and put it on the inside. This is the power of transformation. You have it within you, and you have certain things that you have to do, prayer and meditation, and start to do this and be aware of this. Because one of the things that we learn is that this power must be connected. And that's why I like this analogy of the light bulb so much. Because as soon as I disconnect, look what happens. That beautiful light bulb that radiates warmth and light everywhere becomes a light. It comes right back to being a light. That's what happens. And that's what happens with us. As we separate ourselves from this power, the minute we get disconnected, the second we start feeling it. But this wonderful God has given us this barometer, these things within ourselves so we can do it. He's given, we start to feel the throat. Our mind starts running, starts going in directions that we can't stop it. We just can't control that mind. But when we come back and reconnect with this power within, that untapped inner reservoir, the unsuspected inner reservoir, this connection right here is the most important thing in your life. This is the connection that changes you from a light bulb into a light. This is it. This is the power that lets you live in this outside world, but not be dictated by that outside world, that we can find the peace of mind. We can find serenity and peace of mind. This is the power that brings you the peace that passes all human understanding. The power that brings you all this wonderful peace. This is it. So learn to tap into that power and always stay connected and realize if you're disconnected, that's what we have all these feelings for and these emotions in this distance. We learn to disconnect. If we're disconnected, we learn to reconnect. And that's the secret of having the best life on this planet. You've got it. Namaste.